limited time here. I got a schedule to keep.
And we're back.
Mic check test.
Welcome to another mess of an episode of Head Movement MMA. You got myself, John Jay Rocker, the man with the plan, whatever you want to call me. My co-host Sean Marshall and a special guest tonight.
Why you just gloss over me like that?
What's that?
You just glossed right over me. You didn't give me any special name. You know, nothing. You just said, you just gave yourself all this whole introduction. So I just didn't. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You wanted to move on to Jamie. Go ahead.
I mean, what do we call you?
I don't know. I've never been so insulted in my entire life.
Should we call you No Show Sean Marshall?
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I mean,
it's something.
I mean, you are coming.
Lie, Sean. If that was the biggest insult you've ever had, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's true. No, I've had much worse, but I figured you're trying to put John on blast. But it's good. Go ahead. On with your introduction. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, the legendary, notorious Sean Marshall. Did I get one? How about that?
You look like the what's his name? Nah, go ahead. Never mind. James Brown.
All right.
Like James Brown right now.
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. All right, and our special guest Jamie. We all know how this is going to work, folks. So leave comments, feedback, shoot us emails, please. We are sensitive folks, so not too harsh. So so I made a podcast yesterday, and excuse me, there we go. This podcast is being brought to you by several distributors, and I raise my glass. So I'm going to need several drinks to get through this podcast tonight. So we're going to talk a little fights, and we may get a little off topic tonight, depending on how Froggy Sean's feeling tonight. And then whatever Jamie wants to chime in about. Jamie is a new fan of MMA, so we thought it'd be a nice kind of take, or just to get someone's opinion of becoming new to the sport and their thoughts and whatever. And he's demonstrating his profile in the strong beard. Yes,
very, very strong.
Yeah.
I took the glasses are kind of my staple.
Yeah.
But I got the whole reflection thing going. And that's just it's I don't know. I guess since it's a podcast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's really messing me up.
Anyway, but
I can't.
You can't. You got nothing, Sean. Legendary Sean Marshall.
Where's Waldo?
I am new to the. I guess you can call it what you guys are, the professional MMA, where you start to get into the theory and what happens and who is where. I just like watching dudes beat the shit out of each other.
I mean, yeah, that's
I'm with you.
That's simple arithmetic, man. That's simple arithmetic. We don't try to delve into the X's and O's of the sport. We may throw out a couple words that may or may not make any sense. So I mean, we just like having fun and watching the sport and the competitiveness and a little blood, a little gore, and a little bit of trash talk, some knockouts. Not too much of one thing, but we'll go ahead and get into it.
Preach.
But yeah, go ahead, Sean Marshall. What you want to get into today?
Well, we're really honestly the biggest news right now is what was it? Well, first of all, Eddie Alvarez going over to one, right? And then also the big trade, Mighty Mouse for Ben Askren. That's crazy. I guess we could start with Eddie Alvarez. What are you laughing at? My thing, My thing is for Eddie Alvarez, what a move, because he would have never gotten paid.
Yeah.
Had he stayed with the UFC, he would have never gotten paid.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be happier for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. What do you think?
Well, you saw his interview with Ariel, right? I mean, it didn't seem.
I haven't even. No, I haven't yet.
Oh, okay. Well, just to summarize it, he was saying that actually the UFC came close to what he originally wanted. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know, whatever it's that, was that within 10% or 20%, was that within 500,000, was that within $1 million of what he wanted? But, the crux of it was that he was going on about how the MMA fighters in every league, feedback, how they all were underpaid, more or less, and they really undervalued compared to what the actual organization was making. So he was like, he bet on himself, and he was going to say, hey, I know my self-worth. And just like with anything, it was just like negotiations with it, regular jobs and, 9 to 5, go out and make what you figure, your skill set,
All right, so I need you to school me on something here.
Yeah.
So he left UFC.
His contract expired.
Right.
Contract expired. So he's a free agent.
Free agent.
All right.
After like 30 days.
All right.
So once your contract ends, no one can talk to you for 30 days.
Okay.
Right. They can say they're interested. They just can't make any offers. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So he goes to fill in the blank.
So he ends up with one championship, which I guess is the UFC version in Asia.
Okay. All right.
Okay, or Asia's UFC.
So UFC was within X percentage that he was cool with. Whatever.
Yeah.
Is the long-term value, I'm talking all cash flow, long-term value, where is he better? I don't care if he thinks that UFC's policies suck and that this, that, or the other. Where is, like, we're talking 5 years. I don't know what a contract is. What's a contract? 3 years, 5 years?
They're based off of fights.
Yeah, how many fights?
So, all right, so X number of fights. 6 fights. They're not fighting every month, so you got it's some time. Where's his long-term value? I mean, did he look at it and say, it is better for me to go overseas because long-term I'm going to make more coin, or did he look at it as a statement?
Coin, longevity, you factor in, I think, what is he, 30, 34, 36, 34?
Yeah, he's mid-30s. Yeah, I mean,
we know once you hit 40, pretty much life is over.
So he's at 33, 34. Who invited this guy?
I love it.
He factored all that in, right? So he's been with all the major promotions. His nickname is the King of the Underground, and whatever he called himself when he.
I think that's what it was, something like that. Yeah.
And so he's fought all the smaller organizations, rising through the ranks. He's fought in overseas before he made, his jump over here to Bellator. So I think he says the deal was 8 figures.
Woo! Yes. Woo! Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He would have never. It was all about the coin. I wanted to jump in there. It was all about the coin. He wasn't getting nowhere near that with the UFC.
That is a lot of digits.
Yeah, 8 figures, and he reestablishes himself as one of the most known fighters in MMA, period, worldwide. Yep. And so he has access, to China. That's over 1 billion people, in the world, right?
Thanks, Nicki Minaj. I appreciate that.
So, and they stream. I think he was throwing out figures like the one main annoying thing about ONE FC is you watch it like through your smart device. They have an app. Everything is free. I think Sean dropped off.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
He done got arrested.
Maybe he'll reconnect.
All right.
So anyway, so there's, you know, has 25 million more. They have 25 million. I think he just jumped back on. 25 million fighters or followers, right?
Wow. All right.
That watch their sport.
Okay.
Like that's their audience, and I don't think right now that UFC may not be doing that. I don't know. I mean, the numbers are always so
that big.
Yeah.
How? Like, was it first? Is it what? Why did they have such a larger scale than? And to be frank, as the casual dude who's learning all this, I know UFC. I know, like, I get it all the time.
Yeah.
I know nothing about where he went. Why? So why are there followers more? What is it? Is it a quantity of people in the country thing?
Sure.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, this the same kind of way UFC did in the last, say, 10 years, 10, 15 years. They started just, buying up all the smaller organizations.
All right.
ONE FC kind of did the same thing. So, you can only have so many fighters in one organization.
Sure.
Right. It's just the best of the best isn't always in one organization. Right. So you have whatever 400 plus people on the roster in the UFC. And then now there's a log jam. And then there's issues. Then there's issues, with the promotion itself.
Yeah.
Unfair treatment, whatever, everyone has a different contract because there is no union.
Right.
Or what do you call that? The collective bargaining.
So there's no collective bargaining. Is there collective bargaining in the USC?
No. What is he doing? Present? Hold on. Did he come back?
He's like he's trying.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Icon for Sean Marshall, but I don't have a random creepy guy in a truck.
Yeah. Oops. I don't know.
Sean Marshall is no longer presenting, that I know.
Yeah. Whoa. I think I just mucked something up good.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see you, but I hear voices.
I see you.
Man, I am telling you.
How about that?
As the special guest.
Yeah. I mean,
I am always on cam.
Yeah.
Say for a podcast is totally pointless.
You are getting a lot of. Let me see if I can do it this way. I'll send them another invite.
So to your listeners.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
All right. No worries.
All right.
So. Yeah. So you want to make as much money as you want.
Yeah. Well, listen. Again, 8 figures. 8 figures. I mean.
What?
No, I was going to say, what did he say? Did they get specific on how far apart ONE was from the UFC's offer?
No, they didn't get into specific.
Oh, come on.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't even talk about. Man, what the heck?
Well, look, if you had to,
so let's. I get a lot of money's a lot of money. Which, by the way, I don't mean 8 figures or eight. That's just not how it works. If my boy's getting offered 15 mil by what is it, ONE FC?
Yeah.
And then UFC's coming in and saying, well, we're not going to do 15. We're going to give you 10. So 10 million and 15 million, while that is a lot of money, we're talking a good tax accountant makes those basically doesn't matter. There's still got more to it than just that. Like there's more to it. Yeah.
So that, you got your branding, how's everything, popping with that, your self-worth. Like how much can we push you in the US market, overseas, and whatever, right?
Is he fighting people that's not going to beat the shit out of him as much?
I mean,
Yeah, probably.
he's gonna get hurt. I mean, he's fighting some tough dudes just because you don't know him.
Yeah.
Sure, right? No, but I mean, realistically, is he going? Is he not? Is the caliber the same?
You know what? He fights the best. He's one of the guys that fights the best of the best all the time. He hasn't fought anybody like out of the top 5. And I mean, well, no, I shouldn't say out of the top 5, like closer to the top 10. You know, I mean, since I don't know how long it's been. I mean, he's gone off against the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of badass.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. Oh, he is a badass.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm happy he's over there. I'm telling you right now. I'll bet if I had to guess somewhere, I think it's like so far apart. Like I'm saying that the UFC probably offered him like $2 million, and they offered him 10. You know what I mean? I think it was that far apart.
Yeah.
Where there wasn't even hard to make that decision. You know?
That's
Yeah, which is like, so like this is the first time another organization has like made like, hey.
Oh, so this is a precedence.
So this is the third major player in MMA. So you'd have UFC, and then you'd have Bellator, and then you had the World Series of Fighting, aka Professional Fighters League, who they also made an offer, or they wanted to at least talk to him. So everyone at least wanted to talk to him, big or small, because even for a small organization, hey, if we have Eddie Alvarez in our organization,
right,
we can start getting other guys.
Oh yeah.
And all it takes is like 1 or 2, and then that kind of legitimizes everything, and helps your business grow.
So you guys are the experts. Let's look at the future then. So this happened to Eddie Alvarez. His contract came up. What contracts are coming up of other big fighters soon? Your top 10 UFC guys. What contracts are coming up?
Well, I think this is kind of like, well, don't know so much about that, but this is where Sean wanted to go and talk about, the trade. So because of the Eddie Alvarez trade with ONE FC and UFC, I guess probably they've always been working something out in the background.
Oh, sure.
But then this is just something that came out. So you want to expand upon that, Sean?
Yeah, no, just like the first time any trade has been made from one MMA organization to another, at least top tier, and then so the trade was just made of Demetrius Johnson for Ben Askren. And
how big is for Jamie, because he doesn't know what.
I mean, Mighty Mouse is pound for pound the greatest fighter really ever. As far as I'm concerned.
That's a bold claim.
Dude, I think a lot of people would agree. It's not like I'm talking out of my rear end. I usually do.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of your style.
No doubt. But no, it's like so they're getting a massively big fighter in Demetrius Johnson, but what the UFC is getting in Ben Askren is finally what obviously you see that Nurmagomedov needs a big opponent, needs an opponent that can wrestle with him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So Ben Askren is like one of the top wrestlers out there.
All right.
Yeah, and Khabib is obviously, if you watch that last fight against Conor, he just destroys people with his wrestling.
It's
smother and pound. I mean,
yeah,
you're
talking about the best against the best. Usually they styles make matchups or whatever, and they make great fights. But I think that this is one of those times where wrestling against wrestling is going to be really exciting because that they're going to fight.
Right.
Yeah, and not to mention, so Mighty Mouse fights at 125. He's been undefeated for how many years? He's won every fight. He's defeated, or what? He's like the Ric Flair, right?
Right.
13-time, champion. Like he's went whatever 12, what is it, 12 or 13 straight title defenses. He just recently lost, and he banged up his knee, ACL or whatever, and lost. Barely lost, and the fight still went to the decision. So that was against an Olympic gold medal wrestler in the name of Henry Cejudo. So Henry is thumping his chest, and dude, you just beat somebody who had a blown out knee, and you went the distance. Like let's bring it in perspective, so.
Right.
But the trade for Demetrius and Ben Askren, you have the smaller fighters, the 125 fighters, which a bunch of the fighters overseas, they have a huge talent pool of smaller fighters, in ONE FC. So that's just a whole different, mountain for him to climb. He also, he's big in the U.S. He can be even bigger overseas just because of size and stature and all the competition. He's big into gaming. All over the Twitch channel. So his main sponsor is Xbox. So
seriously,
it's a good move for him. I mean, I don't even know how much money Demetrius is going to make.
He's going to make a ton of dough.
Yeah, the UFC doesn't push him. We're talking about somebody who defeated or who defended the belt for 12 times successfully, and no one knows who he is except people who watch MMA. I mean, he's a champion, and his pay-per-view draws are so bad.
Yeah, dude, I admit I don't have a clue who the
so
hell he is.
bad. But then you have Ben Askren, who's a fighter. He was in Bellator, then he went to ONE FC. He's a great wrestler. His stand-up isn't that great, but it's good enough. Because once you're on the ground, you're done.
Right.
But you also have this other background piece, right? That no one's putting two and two together. Right now, the men's U.S. wrestling team is kicking ass. Right. Okay. So you have this whole influx of wrestlers that are coming in, to MMA. Right.
So the men's U.S. wrestling team is kicking ass, right? Yeah. I mean, these when you say that, these are the Olympic wrestlers. These are the dudes that are, amateurs, whatever.
I mean, you can, sure.
Right. I know. I did air quotes, which is, damn it, I am not good at podcasting because I'm doing very visual stuff here. Anyway,
it is video.
But nobody sees that.
I mean, when I convert it to the audio, they won't see that.
But so the U.S. men's wrestling team is kicking ass. Is that like those dudes? That's they start going to MMA. Is that a true? Yeah. Does MMA draw? Is it a? I'm babbling here. What is is it a bigger push or pull? Do the dudes in the? I went Maryland. I said wrestling. I so said wrestling.
Yeah, it's all right, brother.
Does the U.S. men's wrestling team want to go MMA, and that's their play all through like high school, college, or does the MMA, UFC, ONE FC, whatever, do they recruit heavily? Like or is it both? Is it just how it?
So you have in my opinion, right? You have the UFC, which has been this juggernaut.
Sure.
Where they act like they don't have to do anything. It doesn't, like, the fan is becoming more educated and uneducated at the same time, right? So as they're bringing in all these other people who know nothing of the sport, they think they can just throw anything at them. Like this card that they're having in Moncton this weekend, right?
Wait, you said, wait a minute.
Moncton.
Like Moncton, Maryland?
No, like Moncton. They might as well in Nova Scotia or is it somewheres in Canada.
Oh, wait a minute. There's another place called there's more Monktons?
Monctons. But it's like Moncton.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But so they're really as your stars, like, because there's like this whole wave of the stars that that I didn't necessarily know about, because I mean I didn't get into MMA as early as Sean did, and some of my other buddies that go back to the Pride days, and where you had to be the pay-per-view didn't come on until 1 a.m.
Oof.
Right, because it was over in China.
Yeah, because you're right.
But so I don't go back as far, but those stars that were around for 10, 15 years ago, they're 35, right? And they're 38. They can even be 32, 33, and
right.
they're a little punchy, and their chin, isn't as tough as it used to be.
Sure.
So they're kind of, and then you have this new wave of kids that are like 20, 22, that all they've ever done is grown up and watched MMA. They've seen like, okay, I need a good wrestling base. I need a good jiu-jitsu base. I need to, practice up on my striking with boxing, and let me study judo, and let me study karate. Let me just study Krav Maga. And then constantly doing everything. So now you have these hybrids.
Everything they can get their hands on in terms of the fight style.
Right. So imagine they're starting at 5 or 6 years old. By the time they get to the UFC, they're 22, 23 years old, right?
Right.
And that's all they've done for almost 20 years.
Okay.
And then in MMA, you usually don't peak until like you're 28. So just think about that.
Damn.
Right. Yeah. So once you put it all together, you start going up against heavy competition. You don't start peaking until you're 28. So from like 28 to 32 is where you're just killing people in MMA.
All
right. Your body's filled out. You know how to move everything. You've seen this fighter. You've done this counter. You've seen this. All this other stuff. So it's great, right? So you just see a lot of like Shogun Rua. What is it? Now I can't think of anybody's name, right? Roy Nelson, Mark Hunt. Who are some other guys? They've lost against the younger guys.
Right.
And then you also have the thing. I hate to.
Yeah. I got you doing the air quotes.
I hate to keep going back to the USADA thing, which is their anti-doping agency that the UFC uses.
Right.
To try to help clean up the sport and legitimize it, and especially some of that was to do with them selling.
Sure.
UFC. But you've had a lot of guys that they don't have quite the same stamina as they used to. Like they tire out a lot. They don't have the same power, the same quickness,
right.
The same physical build.
I don't know what that's like at all getting to my age. I mean, I still feel spry. I have the same. Yeah. I mean, I am just as mobile as I ever was. Yeah, no, I get fucking winded walking from my car to my stand-up desk. And my hipster ass with a stand-up desk.
Yeah.
I'm out there like I am standing, burning some cal. I mean, these dudes are 36 in a ring with dudes that are 10 years their junior.
Yeah.
Thumping them.
I mean, some guys can still handle it, and others they just can't. But you have like Jordan Burroughs, who's a freestyle world champion. Elias Coleman. I mean, you have so many of these guys, and it's just kind of like, what do we do, right? What I mean, they're not going to keep wrestling, right? It's hard for them to make a living as a freestyle wrestler or whatever, right? So
why is it hard for them to make a living?
Well, they're not making a lot of dough.
I mean,
tournaments are paying them like 6-7 figures.
When you say freestyle, so they're not signed with anybody.
I mean, they're with whatever, and they have to. They're making their money off their sponsorship dollars.
Gotcha.
Right. They get a little bit of money here, but they're looking for those sponsors to, hopefully cut them like a couple grand a month. All right, and then if you get 5 or 6 or 10 or 12,
great.
Hey,
wear my shorts, drink, whatever.
Yeah.
Drink supplements.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of interesting, in that fact. And so, they have a good wrestling base, and this will allow them to continue
Okay.
in their first love, I guess, of wrestling, right? They get to train, they still diet down. So that's they, whatever. They've been wrestling since elementary school.
Yeah,
They are so used to dieting, cutting weight.
They're running the high school steps in trash bags.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's very unhealthy, but hey, it still works. So it's just interesting, right? And so they can transition to MMA because they have a good ground base, right? Their balance as well. They're used to hand movements. Their endurance is a lot higher, especially like when you come to close quarters and you're just tussling around. And that's kind of like Khabib's thing, right? His stand up is decent enough.
Right.
Like once he grabs you, pulls you in, or goes with that single leg or that double leg and gets high, dude, and gets you off balance, and man, you're going to the ground, and he's just going to lay on you. And there's nothing worse to be like a striker and have a wrestler on top of you, right? Because you're used to like punching and kicking.
You have no out, right?
It's like, what do I do? I'm like, it's nothing. It's nothing like natural for you to do.
You can't do anything because all you know how to do is stand back and punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, or throw some kicks or whatever. It's just,
obviously, but you're wrapped up.
Yeah.
So your tools, your weapons, have been completely voided,
minimized. Yeah. That's why styles make fights. So now you have another Olympian winner,
right?
Ben Askren, who everyone's like, this guy is great, but at his height of success, he left Bellator and went over to ONE FC. So not a lot of folks, over here in America have got to witness how great a grappler he is. So now with this trade, now we'll see him in the UFC, and he was in the UFC before. Like him and Dana White had this little fallout. Dana White's sensitive. He does a lot of barking, but he's sensitive at the same time.
He really is sensitive.
Yeah,
I noticed that, and we can talk about him. He's very much like Sean Marshall. He's very sensitive. He comes across with this like front, but I mean, really, he kind of whines a lot. If you're listening on the replay of this, and yes,
So Sean had to dip, and he's working. So he may or may not be back. I don't know how long we'll go with this podcast, but yeah. So now, right. So Ben Askren is in the UFC.
Right.
So he's one of the big names, and this is kind of the era of the big money fight, which is very annoying to me personally.
Why?
Because it creates a logjam.
Okay.
Right. It's a logjam. So you have all these fighters, 1 to 10,
right, who
are kind of stuck. They're held hostage because Conor took like 2 years off.
Right.
And we had to create an interim belt, and then they didn't want to. There's like a champions clause.
Okay.
So and the whole and I guess I could call you my contract specialist.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
All right, I like it.
Right. So the UFC has all the power.
Yep.
And you have no power.
Okay.
Right. So if you say no to a fight, then Dana White comes out and says, "Oh, you turned down this fight." Right. But the reason I turned down this fight is because you want me to fight for $5,000.
Right.
And then on top of that, you're like, well, if you make weigh-ins, I'll give you $5,000, and if you win the fight, I'll give you another $5,000.
Okay.
So I walk out with 10 grand. But if I lose, I only got 5,000. I have to all these expenses. My cornermen take 10%. Yada yada yada. And then I don't make a lot of money. I'm not a big name, or even if I'm a big name, it sucks, right? So at any point in time, if I want, I can terminate your contract, even though I have a contract for 5 fights. He can just cut you. You can be cut at any point in time, right? It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball. It's not like
There's no guarantee.
yeah. You just don't know. You piss off the promotion, and you're short. You're short. Even though your contract says they guarantee you 3 fights a year,
right?
You're not necessarily going to get 3 fights a year. Or then they'll change the wording around. It's like, oh, we guarantee that we'll offer you at least 3 fights a year.
Man, their lawyers are good.
Oh, they're very good.
They're good.
They're very good. They're very good. And, some of the fighters are there's this thing called Project Spearhead, and I forget the other thing that Randy Couture is trying to head up. But it's just trying to get, representation. I mean, they're different, but they're all, in order to protect the fighters, right? So, there's a lot of talk about, hey guys, let's band together. We'll form a union, and they have to make sure that we get X, Y, Z, right? As opposed to, gosh, man, I'm fighting. I'm putting, basically my livelihood, because this is my livelihood. This is my livelihood. If I take too many concussions,
right?
No one's going to want to book me anymore,
right?
So I'm sitting there. I'm only possibly making, if I'm fighting a 12-12 contract, I'm making $24,000 per fight. Not even counting what Uncle Sam and everything else is going to take.
Right.
And then, I may fight 3 times. I mean, it's not a lot of money for what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You're training for 3 months and, all this other stuff. And then they won't let them have sponsors in the UFC. So, I mean, the guys are getting a lot of money for sponsorships. Like, they can't come to the ring wearing, sponsored by Head Movement T-shirts, things of that nature. It's all the UFC Reebok kit, and then Reebok cuts them whatever.
Well, I mean, that's that's a professional sports thing. NFL, you can't show up wearing your custom Nike. You got to wear their whatever.
Yeah, but their pay scale is a little different.
That is true.
There is a minimum. Now, you can get cut in football too, but there is like a league minimum of how much you can make, and then based off of how many years that you've been in the league.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
So now in the money era, right, money fight era. So you could possibly have, you have basically this big money fight era is just based off of Conor McGregor, like cherry picking his fights.
Yeah.
All right. So he's a big draw. He was exposed this time, in his last fight. So now you could possibly have Ben Askren, who's storied wrestler, wrestle Khabib.
Right.
So Khabib is 27-0. You have George St. Pierre, who's semi-retired, and he kind of cherry picks now. I've been gone 3 years, but I'll jump back in and I'll fight, whatever for legacy. So now you can dangle that carrot out there in front of GSP, like, hey man, you've even said, it's been publicized that you would really want to fight George Askren or Ben Askren, sorry. So now you have that super fight, right? And then you have Ben Askren against GSP, right? Then you have Ben Askren against Khabib, right? And then you have Ben Askren against Conor,
right?
Now, granted, they would have to do some weights, figure out a catch weight.
Sure, there's a little bit of juggling there.
So Ben's I think fights at 170, I think.
All right.
And the other guys fight at 155. Now Conor has fought at 145 also. But
yeah, Ben's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit bigger boy.
So, but there you have 3 or 4 super fights, and then you can have each one like, oh, let me get my revenge, and then you can create a trilogy inside that, right? So therefore, you have these 4 individuals. Out of the 4, one has the belt.
Okay.
But what's the possibilities? Whatever you can have 12 fights?
Yeah, whatever. Right.
Between the 4 guys.
Right.
without a belt, and they're all pay-per-views. I mean, so it'll sell. How will Ben Askren do against Khabib? How will Ben Askren do against George St. Pierre? How would Ben Askren do against Conor? You know, how does he do against Khabib?
So literally, this dude. So Ben is literally the pivot point of all the money.
Yeah.
The money comes down to who he's fighting and where it comes in, and who's got the belt and where they're weighing in at and where they're going to fight at, who's coming up, who's going down in weight.
Yeah. So a relatively unknown person in the MMA world,
right?
But he comes with such clout,
right?
That everyone wants to prove themselves again, and he talks a lot of crap too. You know, so
does he really?
Oh yeah.
Is he good at it?
Yeah, he's good. He's a smart aleck. He's just like, oh, okay. I don't hear any of these guys in the UFC calling me out now that they know I'm coming to the UFC. That they're talking all of a sudden. Now they're quiet. You know, so it's he kind of has like, he's known for like a boring style because he's a wrestler.
Sure.
And like
it's not wrestling isn't dynamic.
No, I mean it can be.
Sure.
But when you want to smother, slam. A win is a win.
All right. So what do you think? What's going to happen? What's the head movement podcast guru's thoughts
of
so what's the first fight that happens now that all the shakeups happen? What's the first fight? Who gets off their ass? Who actually doesn't pick and choose? What's the first fight? Putting you on the spot, but I wouldn't even know where to start.
I think only because, Conor lost.
Yep.
And that's a bad matchup for him. So I don't think they'd want to see Conor go up against another wrestler.
Right. Didn't work. Why do it again?
And we don't know what's going to happen with him or Khabib with the suspension. Right.
Yep.
So likely choice would be Ben Askren.
Yep.
Against GSP.
Okay.
And you don't have, and that's a main event without a belt.
Yeah, nobody wins anything out of it other than money and bragging rights.
So then you bring in this whole other group of people who are big into USA wrestling or wrestling in general.
Okay.
That want to watch this. Right. So this isn't the casual fan. This is somebody who watches wrestling.
Right.
And then plus everybody who was supporting him, and UFC or ONE FC.
Right.
So now they'll tune into the UFC and watch. So
that's a big draw, it seems to me.
It's huge. I don't necessarily think it would be the biggest draw ever, but it'd probably be in the top 10.
Right.
Pay-per-view buys. I mean, it'd be really good.
And then and with, like you said, no belt.
No belt. You don't have to worry about that.
I mean, it's just a fight.
Yeah. Ain't gonna be a catch weight,
Right.
So yeah, so that was one possibility that I thought, like when I heard about Eddie, I was like, oh well, maybe Eddie could move up and have a catch weight fight with Ben Askren in ONE FC. Because ONE FC, they do things a little differently, right? You can actually knee a grounded opponent.
Oh, that's that's some East Baltimore shit there.
Baltimore City. Yeah. It's a little rougher, and so they have a little bit more excitement, to kind of make up for, they would say, like the lack of names.
You can knee a grounded opponent.
Mm. Yeah.
There's a reason I don't fight MMA, because this face could end up when I'm on the ground.
But Demetrius, actually made a statement a while back about like he would love to do that. So this is perfect for him.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Like he would like to do it because it's fun. I mean, what the fuck?
He thinks it should be legal.
Oh, I mean. I guess why not? I mean, it's not like that's the worst thing that's going to happen. I mean, there literally the shit that goes on a knee while you're on the ground. Okay, it's kind of like blue on black at that point.
I talked to people who thought it was okay to kick someone in the face if they were on the ground.
Oh,
they thought that would be that's not as bad as dropping elbows to a grounded opponent.
Kicking somebody in the this is a hard one to process. Kicking somebody in the face is not as bad as dropping an elbow to somebody on the ground.
Yeah.
I feel like as a bit of an outsider here that that can't be the case because kicking kicking somebody in the face, that's a thing.
Yeah.
There's some momentum. We can get into Newton's law. It's a thing where a foot and the face do not, and I get the elbow thing, and then you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I also assume that if that becomes a legal thing or that happens and it becomes a move you can do, that if somebody's dropped and you get a foot to the face, I mean, that's kind of the end. There's not much after that.
No.
Really, there's not.
There's not too much coming back from that. I mean, I've seen people catch illegal knees to the face.
Right.
They dealt better with that than someone, getting squared up in the face.
I mean, laying on the ground, and you got a guy who knows what he's doing with his legs anyway, and just squares you up, right foot, right.
Especially when you're not prepared for it.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, So
Listen, I'm not against it. Just as a casual fan, I am fine with watching somebody get kicked in the goddamn head.
Yeah,
but
it's different. You know what? Like that whole brutality that people want, that gore, that shock effect. I mean, hey, go for it. But I don't know. I just think it's easier for you to give someone a concussion with a kick to the face.
Yeah.
The elbow.
Right. I mean, it's a okay. Yeah, I don't
like the elbow or the elbows, as they like to call them. will cut you up quick, right?
Sure.
And and they can knock you out.
Oh, I just got that elbow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretending it's the okay, got it. Yeah.
Raining down hell.
Yeah. I am getting enlightened by this as the special guest.
So, see, I told you should have came on. So
I like it. I need you to find a topic that you can talk about for like 40 seconds without me interjecting, because as your special guest, I need a beer.
Oh, brosif. Yeah. By all means. Do you think?
I will. What?
Let's see.
All right.
Do you see me?
No, I see I got a logo.
All right, hold on.
Oh, now you're back.
Hold on. Let me see.
Is that your record collection back there?
Yeah. Well, it's part of it.
I like it.
Part of it. Yeah. I mean, just kind of a corner.
I mean, we literally. I mean, that's a monster collection. Part of it.
Just excuse the mess, folks. But yeah, and then set up over there, and then there's my laptop and mixer and one of my setups. And
well, I'm not going to show you around, so I'm in a different situation. If I showed you around, you'd see a pair of underwear, some
panties.
No, I'd love to say that, but it is.
You know what? I wish I had that clip that I sent you with homeboy coming down the steps.
Oh, I got. Let me get a beer. I'll be right back.
Do your thing. All right, folks. So that's my man Jamie. Folks, we're just kind of just shooting the breeze here, man. We just want to have fun. And if you guys want to come on the show, definitely shoot me an email. Info at headmovementmma.com or podcast at headmovementmma.com. And we can definitely talk and hang out, man. I mean, guys were just chill, and we just have a couple laughs, a couple brewskis. Jamie and I are co-workers, and I thought,
the good stuff.
Definitely, showed a lot of support and encouragement, with everything that Sean and I have been doing and interest. And, I figured like, hey, let's, we're trying to cater to folks that aren't necessarily, black belts and BJJ, we're all white belts here, and, that just, love the art of combat sports. Now, your boy Sean wanted to talk about current events and Britney Spears. And
yeah, what is, I mean, if he thinks I'm the guy that he needs to bring on to talk about pop culture, literally, I am not a pop culture dude.
You know what I'd want to do though?
Yeah, let's do it.
And then, and this may be something that I may have to bow out of. Because I am not a mechanic.
Okay.
I think it would be great because I know Sean, Sean was big gearhead yourself, and maybe do, head movement MMA motorcycle edition. Right?
You touched something. You touched something there.
Yeah. So, I figured like that would be like very cool. I know you're very passionate. I mean, matter of fact, why don't you go ahead and tell us about all your riding?
All of my riding, eh?
All your bikes. You know what? I wish Keith was on because, man, you know what? That's what I should do.
We got
Keith, you,
all right,
and JD.
All right.
Oh,
all right,
man.
Those two, I will say, JD and Keith.
Yeah.
Now JD is the better looking version of me. He's got the beard,
glasses.
You look. I got the fucking coif hair thing going. He is everything that is that, except he's rocking the sleeves.
Yeah.
So he's everything I want to be.
He's deep into the culture, man.
Yeah, and I'll throw him this clip. I want JD to know he is who I want to be. Want to be some JD. And then you got Keith, who
socks on a chicken.
I will. Oh, socks on a chicken.
Socks on a chicken.
That one octave up.
Yeah.
Dude, those dudes have cars.
Yeah.
I mean, they're legit. Keith's Mustang is legit. He puts that thing on a dyno and it starts pushing. You dyno a car at 350 and it means something, fine. You start getting on a drag strip and you need 4, great.
Yeah.
Hold it. I think he last dynoed it at 675 horse or something stupid. That's a different category.
Yeah.
And then you got JD who's talking about he's got a bucket. Then
I'm restoring this one. This will be my 5th one.
He's got this pan head, and he's got this shovel head, and he's got this flat head. I mean, they're on a level that it's a different story. So, I mean, I'm a hatchet mechanic. I'm a shade tree mechanic. So, I did my share. I had my Harley. I cammed it out. I did some riding. I took it down to the west.
So how old were you when you started riding?
So I guess looking back early on, my old man had a bike. I guess I really started. I got on 2 wheels as early as I can remember. So I had a little 50cc mini bike,
the Honda,
6 years old, 7 years. I didn't get an actual named bike. The little mini bike was just I don't know what the shit that thing was. It was sure special.
Did it come from not High Gear? What was that other?
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, it used to be these old like before Advanced Auto, there was like Track Auto, right?
Oh, like
there was another one like called High Gear.
Oh, no shit. All right, you got me.
The High Gear was in the mall.
But they had
they would have like mini bikes and along with the other parts and. So
we growing up on the shore, we actually didn't have stores. or society.
Right.
I don't know where the hell this thing came. I mean, it was. I got no clue. I just know I came home one day and there was this thing with a motor, and I started fucking around on it.
Yeah.
My first little 50cc was actually, I think it was a Kawasaki actually, but it was
okay. A cow.
And then it was just random little dirt bikes. Then I just, all of us had, through high school, everybody had like a little 125 or what, and they were all 2 strokes, and we just beat the shit out of them, and they barely ran, and you'd blow the rings out, and you'd figure out how to rip the engine apart and put some new rings in, and you would do a terrible job at it, and they would still smoke, and they would still be, it was a disaster. And just from that, you just kind of keep going. And now, now I'm fortunate enough. I got my Triumph. I had my Harley. I had my Honda. I had my GX, my GX for a little while.
Get the 1000?
No, God, no. I did not have a 1000. I don't have that kind of talent. No.
Okay.
I actually I'm actually a bigger fan of smaller displacement.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I don't know much, but what little I know, like the Yamaha, was it the YZR, YZF?
Yeah. So a lot of like you get a lot of these big displacement. They're leader bikes, some people call them, and you're talking like 1000 cc. So sometimes 900s will be in it, so 900,000 and up. But they're, I mean, the power to weight ratio on these bikes is absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fun and they're awesome, and dudes know how to ride them like significantly more talented than I am. I mean, they can do crazy shit on them. I like smaller displacement because I like shifting and feeling. So the smaller displacement bikes, you have a lot less torque, a lot less horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot more clutch and shift work.
Yeah.
And that to me is more fun.
Yeah.
So I like.
You don't mind the workout.
No, not at all. So I like the 600s. Even the 900s are getting up there, but I love 600 cc as far as sport bikes go. 600 cc.
Yeah,
that's a whole totally different thing. I don't ride sport bikes anymore. My bike is not a sport bike. It's an old cafe racer. But it's an 865, so it's a little guy. So if you're gonna get into corners and you're gonna start really getting in it, you're up and down through gears. You're mixing up the gearbox constantly because you just got to be in the power band, which is just a power band. Look, I'm going 2-stroke days.
Yeah.
You're just not. You just can't rely on this massive motor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dudes that can ride bikes, like
that. What is it? Kawasaki started making it, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, that ZX11, and
yeah, you got 1100, then you got then you got high boost.
So down here where we are, there are Hayabusas galore, right? Especially where I am.
You can walk across Hayabusas like you're walking across stones in the water.
It's crazy, right? You got all the East Coast Busas.
And
everything else, and
you take a boost and they stretch the swing arms so the back tires way out,
and they're like this wide.
Yeah,
right.
So the thing with boosters are they're heavy. They're big goddamn bikes. Like if you ever sit on one, they're big. Sport bikes are always they're supposed to be small, light, like fast. They're race bikes. These boosters are, they're big bikes.
Well, that's because they don't care how much you weigh.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You get 4 or 5 bills up on that booster, you're still moving.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if that you had that 4th extra cheeseburger. That's fine.
No, not at all.
People don't realize when you look at actual racers, just like jockeys on a horse. If you look at the top racers in MotoGP, these dudes are 5'4", $125. I mean, these are little dudes.
Yeah, they're thin. They're definitely thin and thin and wiry.
Yeah, they are. And they're not American. They're just what it is. So yeah, these boosters, and then like you said, the 1100. I mean, they just have this. These things are just big. These are big bikes.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't do is corner.
Right.
They're straight line bikes. They
want to go straight, man. They're like, you mean you want to turn? No.
You want to haul ass down 50? Like, do your thing. But yeah, they don't turn. And that's why I like smaller displacement bikes, smaller bikes. They turn, they're more fun. It's a preference thing.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, see, I think that'll be great, man. You know, get you guys on there, just go at it, man. You know,
I will ask them a bunch of questions and I will bow to them because they know their shit, man. They are.
Yeah, they're sick. They're sick with it, man. Definitely. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, I've cracked open cases. I've done a bunch of shit, and I'm happy to do it. And I love doing it. They're on a different level than I'll ever be.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are racers. They're crazy. Well, you know, I don't know what your timeline is like, and I don't know if people have dropped off because we're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Yeah, I would like to say that I don't know if I brought more to it or derailed it more, but
it's diversity, man. You know, like the whole thing, like, you know, the head movement, you know, the idea about head movement was, you know, like Sean wanted to talk about current events, and I guess I can take you off of full screen so much. So Sean wanted to talk about current events, right? You know, and it was like head movement, like what makes you think, what makes you think, think, move, react.
How's that? Another drink of Jefferson. Let's get the Jefferson going.
Jefferson Reserve, ladies and gentlemen.
Poor little tink.
You know, and you know what? I've had that bottle for a while, remember?
I am disappointed, actually.
Yeah, I like, dude, that first time I got that bottle, it was gone in, like, you know, the next day. So.
We barely got it home.
Yeah. So I like the small batch bourbon, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to donate.
So I think we can plan out some of these. So now we're going to do a JD, a socks on a chicken. And
Socks on a chicken.
Socks on a chicken.
I can't wait till people hear that coming out of his mouth. Oh, man.
I just learned that today. So we got a motor show.
And a motor show. The head movement motor show.
We got a bourbon show.
Got a bourbon? Ooh.
We got to do it.
Got to bring it. You think Barry would do one with us?
She couldn't fucking wait to do this.
Really? Wow. That would be huge. That really would, because she's sick with that knowledge.
Yeah, she is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great for me being the guy that enjoys drinking, having a girlfriend who can like make me feel less like a lush and more like a connoisseur. So Barry, if you listen to this podcast,
yes, shout out to Barry. Yeah. So I mean, like we wanted to talk about a whole bunch of different things, not just MMA. You know, MMA was kind of like the common ground between Sean and I. Like we wanted to relax. You know, have a couple drinks. You know, watch UFC, and you know, and it was so funny. I wish Sean was on, but I know he's working. But you know, when we started working together, Sean was all about UFC, right? And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I've seen it a few times, but I'm a squeaker, so I didn't want to pay the $50, right, for the show. So I'd watch like the undercards, or I'd watch like the rewinds on Spike TV or Fuel TV before they moved to Spike TV, and you know, then FS1, and I got hooked on it when I just happened to, run across Elite XC, which is now defunct, and Strike Force. They were both on Showtime.
Oh, I remember Strike Force.
Yeah. So and then I would talk to Sean about Strike Force and how good all the fighters were over there, and he was like, "Please, UFC is where it's at." I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, the fighters in Strike Force can go toe-to-toe with the guys in UFC. I'm telling you that right now, because one thing I do is I'm able to see people's movements, you know, and like their skill set, and just kind of like analyze their speed, the movement, you know, almost like the NFL combine for me, just like, you know, from playing football, right? So I can just kind of tell like how you move and how you would do, even though I haven't been really trained in the arts of karate. But you know, nonetheless.
No,
right?
but you're looking at it from I don't want to just say like a talent view, but you can see
like the kinetics, the kinesiology. Like I can analyze someone's jab, like how crisp it is, how direct it is, how on point, if it's looping, if it's slowed, like judging the speed, the distance, angles.
You said a looping jab, which I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's amazing.
So like in MMA, like you can grab the back of the opponent's head and you can work it, right? And that's like inside. That's dirty boxing, right?
Yeah.
But just because of all the possibilities, the strikes
Sure.
that can come out. So your spacing. All right. So
this is getting good.
Yeah. So like your spacing
All right.
is different from boxing than it is from MMA.
Okay, I get that.
Right. So like if I'm throwing a jab in boxing, like one thing that I don't like is in MMA, these guys don't throw combinations. All right. So that's one thing that needs to be implemented, right? More so. Because the fighters aren't used to it. Now the counter argument is like there's so many other things that I have to worry about.
Yeah. Why am I thinking about a combo?
Yeah. But the other person is thinking the same thing, so they're not expecting the combo.
So if you throw them a combo,
you can stack them. The art of surprise. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Free coaching device. The front kick.
Everybody right now listening to this podcast, if you want to be one of those top 10 tier,
top five,
all you got to do is be able to throw a combo. That's it. If you can throw a combo, top five.
So
free coaching advice right there.
Free coaching advice. People are like, "Oh, you're crazy," but I'm telling you, no one in MMA right now throws combos. Nobody. It's always jab, one, jab, and if
that was
what the fuck just happened? Like, why are you like? I still have to defend.
That was some smooth shit there, Johnny B.
Yeah, not bad for old dude.
Johnny B, that was good.
Yeah, I have a moment. Back in the day,
you laid out. That was some things.
Yeah.
You went back in time in your head, didn't you?
I did. I need some liniment.
It's great, except now, why are you rubbing? Is that Ben Gay? What's that?
Listen, bro, you're not gonna see me at work tomorrow. I threw my back out.
I'm not answering those questions. But if anybody asks me, I have no clue.
Right.
I don't know. Last time I saw him, I was leaving work.
But it's just like it's simple things, right? And then like the front push kick, like to kind of neutralize opponent, especially if that opponent is faster than you are or has a longer reach, and their timing, they're not necessarily faster than you, but their timing could be better, right? So their counter punch could be better than your initial punch, right? So they're getting the best of you, or if they have more power than you. But I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 times, that front kick that you throw is more stiff than the jab that they're throwing at you. You show me some man that in the same weight division, their punch is stronger than their kick.
I mean, of course it's not. It's your goddamn leg.
Right. So,
which goes back. Here's where I'm a fan of full circle. I don't want to be kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Take the elbow.
Right. Just stand it up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if we're squared off right now and you're getting the best of me, I can just throw a front kick in your midsection just to throw you off a little bit, right? Just to get you thinking about that.
Sure.
If I throw that and use that as a jab, you're going to like, oh, wait a minute. And by that third time, like, if I'm using it once and I see an opening for a second time, and then I'll probably try it a third time, like we'll say within this 15-second period.
Right.
You're going to start thinking like, oh, he's having success with that. So now I'm looking for the leg kick again.
And then you're going to punch me in the face.
I can fake the leg kick, like, so there's all about these feints and, sometimes you just do stuff to see what your reaction is, right? The art of skullduggery.
Man, this world is so violent.
Yeah, but cheers.
Cheers. Are we rocks? Are we neat? What are we doing?
I'm rocking it.
Nice. Good move.
I'm not going to say what sponsor this is. I'll cover it up, but you know, but it's a pretty cool tumbler.
It is. It's
yeah.
Is it almost iridescent, or is it just bright? Bright, very bright blue.
It's got like a mist over it, so it's a
pretty fucking sweet tumbler.
Yeah. I'm not
gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh no, QVC, didn't you?
What QVC?
Doing the model. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to my girl TT. She knows who she is. She does work for QVC. You catch her modeling and everything. But anyway, but yeah, so like, you know, there's the palm strikes that Bosch Rutan used to be famous for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like no one uses palm strikes. I'm like, if you really know your MMA history, why aren't people using palm strikes? He was knocking dudes out with palm strikes.
It's funny. I have this MMA old. So when I was in college, it was Tito Ortiz was the big deal.
Yeah.
So that's the MMA that
Sure.
in college, I got nothing else better to do except drink and watch people beat the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know why it went away. Like, I don't know what the difference was. I don't know what the gap was. Was there a?
There was a law.
There was a. Was it? Yeah. Was the law? Was it an advertising law? Was it a marketing law? Or was it just there wasn't the fighter? There was no dynamics. What the hell? What was the law?
Yeah, I mean, you know, once that died out, and you know, because the people only knew Tito Ortiz, they knew Randy Couture, they knew I guess Ken Shamrock.
What's that dude's name? Randy something. What was it?
Randy Couture.
Randy Couture. Oh no, Jackson.
Iceman.
Jackson.
Yeah, the Iceman. Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell. And then he became like funny and an actor or whatever.
Chuck Liddell?
He was in a couple.
He was in a movie, but I don't know if he was funny.
Pretty funny. He's a pretty funny dude. He's goofy looking.
Yeah, with the mohawk. I think he was. Was he in The Hangover? Was that what it is? Or?
Was he? Oh, he may have been.
I don't know. I'm not even going to bother looking up because we don't fact check, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Oh God, no. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is that Sean Marshall portion of the show where we're discussing current events.
Yeah, but yeah. But
maybe that came out 12 years ago.
12. So you know, you can pick right back up. I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to get Teresa to get on, and I want to do like a wrestling.
Oh, she loves wrestling.
Yeah, a little WWE and NXT and Ring of Honor. I forget, and there's another one that I just found out about last week, and
I don't know. The Big Show gave me a hug one time. That's all I can say.
Oh, well, you know what? I went to a show and I was on NWA show back in the day. This was in the 90s. And that's probably when I checked out after like NWO just got all stupid.
Yeah.
Went to a show at George Mason
University
at the Patriot Center. Second row.
Right.
And it wasn't televised.
Okay.
So Big Show came out, and I was like, he's big.
Yeah.
But he's not as tall.
Right.
As I thought.
They build him at like 7 foot.
He's not.
No,
he's not.
6'7", 6'8", probably.
I've met Pat Ewing, Alonzo Mourning.
Yeah, they're tall.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
7 feet is a different level of big.
Oh yeah.
Now, I will say though, he is a wide dude.
Oh, he's very wide. I mean, his hand is like it's huge.
Yeah.
Like it's like this wide. Yeah. But yeah, it was funny. This was like during like the whole fake Sting era.
Oh God, fake Sting era. Oh, nostalgia.
So, yeah. So, but there was people there, like, we were there, like whatever. I was in my 20s, and of course I'm mocking people there. I mean, I went with 15 guys, right? 15 of my buddies.
Yep.
We had like the whole row,
sure.
and everyone's going crazy. And I turn around to my left. And I mean, like I should say all the way directly behind me. And there's this mom, right? Like needlepoint. Crochet. Like during the whole thing, like she's turned to the side. The ring is over here. She's turned to the side, and she's just. And I'm like, oh my God, the things you have to do as a parent, right?
Oh my God.
Clearly, oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, dude.
The old dick twist.
The old dick twist.
So then, like, so whatever, she brought her son, and he was screaming his head off, right? He was, Time was like, he's probably 8-10 years old, right? God bless her, right?
Yeah.
And then, so it's like the end of the show, and I forget how it ended, and all of a sudden, they threw the spotlight on, like to the rafters, and it was Sting, but it was the fake Sting, right? And then this guy clearly had to be from the Eastern Shore. Clearly, bro. I mean, deep in the Eastern Shore. And he goes, and then, Sting used to do the ow, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Which was it's never as popular as woo, right?
Right, of course not.
And then he does the ow.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, he speaks. Like, I don't think that's quite what you would consider speaking. And like, so I'm sitting and I'm like, okay, I know this is fake. I embrace that it's fake.
Sure.
I love this. I grew up on it,
Of course.
Baltimore, Maryland, not DC. Baltimore, Maryland is Ric Flair country. Starcade forever. Okay.
Ric Flair. He is our hero.
Yeah, right. So but this was in George Washington University, and Fairfax, Virginia. But I was just like, God, this guy thinks this stuff is real. A grown ass man. He speaks. I'm like, no. And then so I was just like, okay. And then they just started chucking pennies, doing the whole like they like melee broke out and people were getting hit with chairs in the ring, and they were just chucking pennies, like and then they just started throwing stuff, and they cut the lights on. I mean,
this was mayhem.
Oh yeah, it was just bad, right? So then, flash forward or now backwards, right? When I was, I'm trying to remember, was I? Yeah, I think I was still a bouncer in DC.
Right.
And I was working at this head of security at this one club in Georgetown. The club ended, and I go to this other club, and it stays open. Club 5 doesn't matter. It's defunct now. Sure. It's called 5 because it stayed open until 5. Right.
Right. Better than 4 working.
And it's in December, and I think it's like every other December, some WWE show is in DC. Right.
Great.
So they're there and they're having a show on Sunday, and it's a Saturday night. And I walk in there, because I used to work there before I was in Georgetown in DC. So this is in Midtown DC.
Yeah.
And one of the guys like, hey man, and they know me as John there. So they're like, John, go over to that bar. Tell me who you see. And I look, and it's Double J. Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I forget what the guys' names were. They were twin brothers, and they were in the NWA also, right? But only one of the brothers was there. I can't remember. They were like tall. I mean, they were like 6'4", 6'5", bald head guys, and they wore like leather jackets, right? Oh, leather vest, I think. Anyway, and I talked to them, and BSing, and I was just like, hey man, I introduced myself and I was like, yeah, man, they call me JJ too. And he was like, oh, look, man, he's JJ too. He's slammed at the bar, just slurred words or whatever. He's just sitting at the bar like this, And, of course, I know the bartenders. I'm like, yeah, look, that's when I was doing my Grand Marnier back in the day. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So then
we should start that again.
the Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever drink Grand Marnier. I got a brand new bottle that's been in my fridge for like 3 years that I got for a birthday. I can't. It's too much sugar. I can't handle it. I can't handle it, man. But so I say to him, I said, man, and this is a spoiler alert. If you folks don't know who Jeff Jarrett played back in the day, it's a spoiler alert. It's 25 years later.
I feel like they've probably seen it by now.
Yeah. So I say to him, I was like, hey, man, so this was like 2001, 2002, maybe 2002.
Oof.
And I said, man, hey, do you know what my favorite thing that you've done, like with all the guitars and all that, because he used to smash people with the guitar. I told him, I said, the best thing that you ever did was the fake Sting thing. Man, his knees buckled.
Are you shitting
I mean, buckled. He's like, you have no idea how hard that was to keep it under wraps. Because he loved doing it. He absolutely loved doing the fake Sting. Yeah.
Because when you kind of figured out it was him, that was a big deal.
Yeah. Because he wasn't quite as tall as Sting was, but yeah, he had the same build.
Yeah, I mean,
he was thick. And that was the thing about those wrestlers. Like they look like they're this wide.
Yeah.
But they are more thick from the back of the shoulders to the chest, than wide, like say like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, they're barrely.
Yeah, they're barrel.
They're big boys.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just kind of interesting, like my brush with greatness. But so we were drinking and stuff, and
my brush with greatness.
Yeah. So he thought that was pretty cool. He's like, yeah, he had a lot of fun with it, But hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But he was getting hammered. I'm like, dude, I'm like, what are you in town for? He's like, yeah, we're doing a show Sunday. I'm like, oh, great.
Did you get hooked up?
No, he didn't hook me up.
Fake Sting.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good for me. So I don't know, man. It's getting a little late.
All right, yeah, we've been doing this a while, haven't we?
Yeah, a lot longer than Sean and I have ever done a damn podcast, but I don't know if we're ever going to invite you back.
I talk a lot.
Look at all this TV time. You're hogging up the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, what? I like attention.
All the single ladies out there, he's taken. Look at that.
I am off of the market. That's all right.
The beard.
I like it. I like being off the market.
Yeah. It's nice to be wanted. It's nice to be wanted. But hey, man, thanks so much, man. This was awesome, bro. This was awesome.
Hopefully, I get an invite back.
Yeah, we'll see how the viewership goes.
It'll fucking tank. I promise you that.
I may have to chop this up.
Probably a good idea.
We'll see, man. But thanks again, man. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. This is my man Jamie, a really good friend of mine, aka the Beard, aka the Shade Tree Mechanic, aka Broseph.
Chop it up, do what you got to do.
That's right. All right, brother. So we'll be back. I don't know if we'll do another one this week, because there is a UFC event this weekend in what did I say? Moncton.
I still can't believe that's a fucking place.
Yeah, I think it's is it Nova Scotia? I gotta bring it up in my interwebs. Moncton, yeah. Moncton. Moncton, New Brunswick.
Oh, it's in Canada.
Yeah, Canada. Yeah. So there are a lot of fighters on here that are up and comers, and then kind of like journeymen.
Yeah.
The main event is Ozdemir versus Smith. I kind of talked about it yesterday. At the light heavyweight weight limit.
It's nice that it's Canada because it's going to be lots of manners, lots of thank yous, I'm sorry's. You're not allowed to. I mean, you really have to be very kind to each other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we didn't like Sean. We were going to talk about Autumn Lobov, who's one of the guys in Conor McGregor's camp, and he's going up against Michael Johnson.
Your audience really got fucked with me being the next main attraction from.
I mean,
I don't know a damn thing. So sorry, audience, but
we'll see, man. Hey, we'll see. Like I said, man, we head movement MMA was like, what makes you tick? We didn't want to just stay about just MMA only. I mean, we want to talk about current events. We wanted to, bring in subject matter experts that we knew and didn't have to go out and try to, just, hey man, please come on my show. I'm begging you. Like, dude, you know enough people.
Huh?
In our inner circle that we can reach out to, and just like, hey, let's just have fun and we can hang out. We don't know, our schedules always don't match up. We live kind of far apart from one another.
We do.
But you know what? We're close on this internet thing.
Oh,
so again, we can. I actually, you know what? I have this lady.
Beautiful words, John. Those are beautiful words. We are close on this internet. I mean, those are.
You like that. You can quote me on that.
You have my. I will.
And just like I went back. You actually made reference to it earlier today about my logo had changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that I just rehashed an old logo that I used to use for back in the day, my DJ days. So I thought it was kind of cool, right? The whole head movement, it had like buildings and the skyline, and
it's a good logo, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have some other color variations, but I kind of just went with that one because that is like the clear like watermark for the videos. But like I have a slogan on there. So the slogan that goes along with it is like, if you touch them, they will feel you. So, which can mean many, many different things, right? Yeah.
It sure can. It sure can, John. It can. Yes, it can.
So, and it can just, because like that was back, of course, when I was this is on vinyl. This is
when I say record collection,
the first record I pulled out. I mean,
what do we have?
Keith, I don't know if that shows backwards or not. That's Keith Sweat.
Keith Sweat?
Yeah.
Oh,
make it last forever.
Oh,
yeah. The full album.
You pull out is Keith Sweat.
The full album.
Yeah, and touch them and they'll feel you with Keith Sweat. Yeah, that's what'll happen.
And he has ties to Maryland because I think he's got a couple baby mamas, and then also shout out to Jay-Z.
Old the Black Album, nice.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
guys. I mean, this
angry. Look how angry he is there.
I mean, he's a rapper. He ain't smiling. I mean, he's not Will Smith.
He's smiling now.
I thought about doing like a DJ show, but I'm not sure on what the legals are on that because my legal battles with Instagram right now.
You gotta shut the fuck down.
Oh my God.
I am talking to a wanted criminal, which
so still trying to get that back online, but Jesus. Yeah. So I mean, I have a temp account, just head underscore movement or tiny elbows on Instagram, but whatever. All right, guys, we're rambling. It's getting late. Thanks again, Jamie. Yep. Appreciate you coming on. Well, we may do a recap depending on not you. Me and Sean may do a recap Saturday night. We may try to go live of UFC Fight Night. Well, I don't know if we'll watch it during or do the recap during or watch it like a companion like Joe Rogan. I mean, if there's anything happening, I don't know. PFL, there's a break until, New York for New Year's Eve. I should be there covering that event. It seems like we got a lot of good foot traffic with that, and we'll continue to move on, and we'll probably have Jamie back at some other point in time.
He already he said it live, so I mean,
yeah, bro. I mean, I had a good time. I don't know if anyone else had a good time, but yeah, we had a good time, and I'm going to have another guest. Who's heavy into boxing? My man John from New York, or excuse me, New Jersey. He's pound per pound glory. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's heavy into boxing. He's also doing. I posted one of the our 3-part interviews where he was on there from the last PFL 10. So yeah, it'll be fun, man, and we can go from there, man. But until next time is the right time. Head movers out. Holler.